Chapter 12. Today is saved. Literally. Friendship is harmony. Harmony is magic. And that means friendship is magic. The 5 elements sent beams of magic into the wand of Trixie's element. Once the wand focused into a single beam. Trixie pointed the wand forward, striking Nightmare Moon with a rainbow beam that engulfed the dark alicorn. No! Nightmare Moon shouted in terror as the darkness was being stripped away from her. Joanna sat in the throne room. She wasn't interested in another day, or rather, a 24-hour cycle that is the length of the day in an eternal night. The concept of day became obsolete. But she was no eagerly waiting the start of another day in court. Deal with nobles once again didn't appeal to her, and she was beginning to notice it was becoming unseasonably cold, thanks to the night lasting 32 hours with 23 minutes. But then she noticed the room beginning to brighten up. She looked towards the stained glass window of Celestia defeating Nightmare Moon, an orange light beginning to rise beyond the window. She ran to her room with proper windows and confirmed her suspicion. The sun!
It seems that Trixie was successful in saving Princess Celestia,
Fancy Pants said as he approached her. Next to her was Prince Blueblood, who had an uncharacteristically giddy expression on his face.
Alti is saved!
Prince Blueblood whinnied in an unprincely way. Back in Ponyville, Artavia began to stir from her seat when the sun began to shine on her face. In an attempt to get more sleep, she turned away from the offending light. It only took her a moment to sit suddenly upright. Any thoughts of sleep gone from her mind. She ran outside to see several Ponyville citizens who thought the same. Cheers could all be heard throughout the town.
You did it, final.
Her good mood soured as she thought of Oculus's fate. The new element bearers groaned as they regained consciousness. Whatever they did to activate the elements of harmony had drained them of their own energy.
Ugh. Did any pony cast the nicest blade of that chariot?
Final groaned in an attempt to lighten the mood. Her mood did actually lighten when she noticed the presence of light.
The sun!
We have successfully saved the day, Sakura said, but I must ask, is every pony okay?
I think something's wrong, Fluttershy said nervously. I can't feel my hind legs.
That's because prosthetic legs don't have nerves to feel with, Ma said blatantly.
Sure, ruined the joke,
Fluttershy said Pan.
Was that Nightmare Moon?
Thunderlane said as he saw a young, light blue alicorn laying on the floor, surrounded by several shards of darkness.
That she was,
a majestic voice said. An orb of light came through the window, formed into a large white alicorn.
You have done well, my little ponies.
Your Majesty! Thunderlane said, kneeling into a bow, followed by the others. Trixie had a different reaction.
Princess Celestia!
Trixie ran to her mentor to receive a nuzzle. You know, with Twilight acting like that in canon, is it any wonder I thought that her mom and dad were dead?
The great and powerful Bellatrix Luamoon, my faithful student,
Princess Celestia said.
Your name is Bellatrix?
Fleur said with a giggle.
Bellatrix Luamoon, the 7th, to be specific,
Trixie specified.
Princess, you know I hate that name. You said it wrong. You're supposed to roll your eyes like this. The great and powerful Trixie.
I'll be sure to remember that next time, the princess said before becoming more serious and turning to the younger alicorn, who winced in fear of Celestia's presence. It has been 1,000 years since I have seen you like this. Time to put our differences behind us. We were meant to rule together, little sister.
Sister?
Flares and Final said together in shock.
There is no need for that surprised look, Sakura said. It is all explained in the storybook. I just forgot that Nightmare Moon and Luna were the same,
Final said.
Will you accept my friendship?
Celestia asked her little sister.
I'm so sorry. I miss you so much, big sister.
Luna cried with as much needed nuzzle to her sister.
Oculus!
Trixie screamed, realizing why time was at the end.
Princess! Oculus is dying. All of the fear and hate caused by Nightmare Moon is poisoning her.
Luna's ears folded back in guilt, knowing her dark alter ego may even cause death of an equestrian citizen.
Every pony gathered around me,
Celestia said with a nod. As the group did as told, Celestia's horn lit with a golden light before they vanished in a flash. The group reappeared in front of Ponyville Town Hall. Trixie immediately ran inside to check on her daughter. The others followed behind. Trixie ran in, tunnel vision preventing her perception. The only thing that existed in her mind was her daughter, and the doors in the way of her goal. She burst into the room that Oculus was in, and the bed was a lifeless youngling. Trixie's ears folded back as tears formed in her eyes. "Oculus?" Trixie whimpered. She wasn't too late, was she? "Please, Oculus, wake up." Oculus wouldn't wake, despite how much Trixie nudged her awake. The other 5 who had watched Trixie try to wake the youngling were also saddened at the sight. Trixie, now void of hope, had turned away, unable to see her daughter's sense of fate. "I was too late." A groan was heard, casting the air attention of everyone around. "There's no point these days check for a pulse anymore," Luna asked her sister. "Sometimes emotions can get in the way of common sense," Celestia answered. "I'm sure you know better than most how emotions can affect judgment." "Mommy?" Ika said weakly as she began to wake up. Tears of joy were freely from Trixie's eyes. "Yes, Oculus, I'm right here." Ika then turned to the others. "Hi, Princess Zelly," she said weakly. "Hello, Oculus," Celestia greeted. "I do wish this meeting would have been under better circumstances. Did Mommy save Equestria?" This time, it was Luna who answered. "Yes. Your mother saved all of Equestria from the monster," Luna said. "But how are you feeling?" "Tired," Oculus groaned. "Then sleep well, and I will assure you you'll have good dreams." Luna said she lit up her horn to cast a spell to help the changeling sleep. She then turned to Trixie. "I presume you would like to spend time with how are you? Never mind. If you wish, I could put you to sleep and link your dreams together." Trixie let out a long yawn as she realized how tired she was. After the adrenaline rush had ended, the overnight adventure that they all went on, and the lack of sleep began to catch up to the group. The Flares had already passed out on the other bed, snoring away. "I think I could use a good sleep after that adventure," Trixie said, then dozed off with no help from Luna. The rest of the element bearers followed suit. After a good night's day's sleep, Trixie and the element bearers had explained their adventure in full to Princess Celestia. Icos was also there, still recovering, but she insisted on hearing the story. Icos snuggled in Trixie's lap. "Everybody, aww!" Partly for the comfort of her mother, and partly simply because she was still a bit weak. The only reason she was out of bed was because she was carried. But the energy was returning to her, and as well as her chitlin returning to a healthy back. Once the 6 were done retelling their tale, Princess Celestia spoke up. "I saw the signs of Nightmare Moon's return, and I knew it was you who had the magic insight to defeat her," Princess Celestia said. "I knew it would have been either you or Twilight to do so." "We assumed you chose Twilight to take over for you, and me to take care of planning, because of Twilight's rationalization skills, and my knowledge of putting on a good show," Trixie said. "That's not why I chose your roles," Celestia said. "In all honesty, I believe that either you could have done either role. Your 2 destinies have been so intertwined that I may have tossed a coin to have made my decision."
"This offensive was the most dangerous trip," Sakura exclaimed. "Are you saying you sent Trixie here on a mere coin flip?"
"I did no such thing," Celestia defended. "There was one other factor I took into consideration. I've known ever since its founding that Ponyville is a friendly town. Far friendlier than Canterlot, to be sure. I knew how the negative emotions would have affected this factor." "Negative emotions?" Trixie asked before realization dawned on her face. "That's right," Celestia confirmed. "I didn't send Trixie here to Ponyville. Rather, I sent Oculus here. Even if I had chosen to send Twilight, I would have let Spike with you and had Oculus go with her. But I also believe my previous assumption was mistaken. I honestly do not believe Twilight would have done a better job here than you, although you have helped her to open up. She has still trouble making friends on her own. She may have been able to realize friendship at the last minute, but in your case, you had come to the necessary conclusion far sooner." "You said to Nightmare Moon that the element stones I destroyed were just rocks," Luna continued for Celestia, adding to her own perspective. "I believe you were correct in our assessment. You mentioned seeing a crystal tree. If memory serves, what you found was the Tree of Harmony. It likely recognized your worth and transferred the power to wield the elements to you. Flutters using laughter to tame a manticore. Vile's loyalty to refusing to let Maud fall.
Maud's honesty and that she would be okay. Sakura's willingness to generously help. Liliane's kindly leading any battle so that the rest of you didn't need to fight. Interesting interpretation of kindness. Trixie's monastic affinity to serve a sea serpent. If there's one thing that I agree with Nightmare Moon on, it's her claim that you six are truly impressive. The elements of the Tree of Harmony are still quite mysterious, Celestia said, but for Trixie's explanation, I believe that the elements are using you five as their conduits, and Trixie as their lens. So what you're saying is that the elements are using us as weapons? Thunderlane asked. I think she's saying that the Tree of Harmony is no longer using those rocks as conduits, but instead using us, Final said, her helmet still around her neck. I believe we compare to the bows and arrows, the elements of harmony are not anything physical. In this case, the elements are the arrows. Therefore, the rocks were the bows to shoot the arrows, but the Tree of Harmony chose new bows to use. Are you still wearing your element? Flyers asked Final. The element of loyalty didn't cure her vocal cords, Maud said. The element is simply acting as her voice synthesizer, since Nightmare Moon destroyed her last one. Then allow me to personally fund the construction of a new voice synthesizer for you, Lionel. Celestia said, You have time. You are welcome to visit Canterlot when we return, so you can have one personally fitted. Thank you, Your Majesty, Final said with a bow. It was nice to have a non-electronic voice for a short time again, but as long as I have a voice, that's enough for me. I'm sure we can get the best-sounding voice synthesizer can be made. Celestia said, After all, it would be a request from the princess. Does that mean I can have it customized? Final said excitedly, jumping up and down like a filly. File's falseness earned a laugh from the entire group. But Trixie did one more thing to say. She wanted to say it on a more one-to-one level. Ikelis, why don't you and your new friends spend time together while I talk to the princess? Trixie suggested. Rainbow chose to carry the youngling to her friends. Princess, I had to say thank you. Ikelis made friends her own age here, that she would never be able to make a Canterlot. And the residents here are welcoming of her, even knowing that she's a changeling. Ponyville saved Ikelis' life by holding off the poison effects. That was the intention, Celestia said. As I said, I saw the signs of Nightmare Moon's return, and anticipated the negative emotions and how they would affect the Oculus. The friendliness of this town helped act as a bubble of positivity. However, I was hoping the bubble would be more effective than it was. Still, that bubble is why Oculus is still alive, Trixie said. Ponyville is good for her, and not just for her health. I've never seen her as happy as she had been making her new friends. It is true that there's a light in her eyes I've never seen before, Celestia said. And I think Ponyville is good for me too, Trixie considered. And that's why I like to ask if I'd like to stay here in Ponyville. Okay. Trixie wasn't expecting the request to be so easily. Okay. Just okay, Trixie questioned. Whenever Twilight makes a requisition, you always find a way to make it a lesson for her. Why aren't you making some royal decree that I stay here in Ponyville to send you weekly letters about letting learn friendship? Because you, my little Bellatrix, are not Twilight, Celestia said. Twilight has trouble accepting yes for an answer when she makes requests. That's why I turn those requests into lessons. That way, she feels like she's doing as instructive and being protective. I think that mindset is related to the poison joke incident. May I make a suggestion? Luna says she approached. I do not want to take our students away from you. But you still have Twilight. As I recover my full power, what do you think about me taking Trixie on as my apprentice? Of course, with your permission as well, Bellatrix. That sounds like a wonderful idea, Princess Celestia exclaimed. What about you, Trixie? On one condition, Trixie said. Princess Celestia only calls me Bellatrix because she knows how much I hate that name. So please don't call me that. It is an inherited name that almost nobody in my family who was inherited liked. My mother went by her stage name, and my grandmother goes by Belle. Nah, that couldn't have been a reference. I cannot promise I will never use your inherited name, Luna said with a mischievous smirk. But I do know how annoying Celestia can be when it comes to teasing. So I can assure you that I will not use it as often as her. Also, I'm sure that you have things that you could teach me that Celestia won't or can't teach, Trixie added. I want to learn things that'll make Twilight jealous.
Jealousy could be a dangerous emotion. Take it from some pony who knows firsthand what jealousy can do to a pony. Luna warned, not as two conditions. I know the two of them to know that they won't get into that level of jealousy, Celestia said, but I'm sure that dreamwalking ability you learn could be a possible thing to teach. Though Twilight's more of a scholar who learns through books, Trixie here is talented in analyzing anything she sees. That's how she became a magician. She learned magic tricks simply by watching other magicians, and with her magic sight spell, you could show her a spell once, and she could recreate that spell. I may not have the same level of raw magical power that Twilight has, but I can find workarounds with my finesse, Trixie said. That's good to know, Luna said. I know many spells that require finesse rather than power. The ability to become a vapor cloud, the one you have seen Nightmare Moon use often, is one such finesse spell. But I require rest to recover my magic before I can start teaching you. It'll be an honor, and I look forward to it, Trixie said. Before you move to Ponyville, I'm sure you'll want to let Twilight and Spike know, Celestia said. And of course, give your Oculus a chance to say goodbye. I hate goodbye. It sounds too permanent, Trixie said. I prefer see you later. I think I like that, Luna said. When you lived as long as I have, you learn that little in the world is truly permanent. So I will see you later sounds naturally temporary. We can work on that later, Princess Celestia said. For now, perhaps you should let Oculus know about your decision to move to Ponyville. Thank you, Princess Celestia, Trixie exclaimed. And I wish you a quick recovery, Princess Luna. With that, Trixie had to see Oculus was skipping her step. You know that she wants to be a quick recovery, because you also start learning new spells as soon as you can, right? Don't think too hard about it. She tends to come off selfish sometimes, but that's because she loves attention. I'm sure what Desi's meant for you too as well, probably, Celestia says, and another thought came to her. Whatever happened to your old royal speech pattern? Oh. Opening theme? Why, thank you. Oh, we haven't done this in a while. Ahem. My little pony, ah, my little pony. I thought I had all the friends I need. My little pony, but in Ponyville I found a new lead. Raving music, conscious flying high, a mysterious rhyme, with an honest eye, singing laughter, a great and powerful beat, and magic makes it all complete. You have my little ponies. Will you all be my very best friends? On the outskirts of Ponyville, a cloaked figure stood in the shadows on the hill, looking down on the little town. You come just to this town, have you? The figure said. Always had the look of your life. A slightly dark cornflower blue horn poked from the cloak. Mother, education, that cloak, even that name. Oh, I guess the wind blew around, revealing a cutie mark of a chess piece. A black king and queen crossing each other. No, it can't be! To make an exit from a black and white checkerboard heart. But I will once and for all prove that I am the better pony between us. I actually had to work for my success. No. Rather than having things that are given to me, it's just a matter of time before I could say, we had a deal! Her cloak's hood was blown off, revealing a stylish white maid and indigo eyes. Checkmate. Darn you, Checker Monarch! We had a deal! You stay in one fanfic, and I stay over here. We do not cross paths ever! Review time, folks. This was pretty good. I know we usually start with the bad, and to be honest, there's not really that much to complain about. Yeah, there are some spelling mistakes here and there, and we do get some reuse of the lines from the show, but unlike certain other times this has happened, it's not too blatant where I'm just rolling my eyes in the back of the head and going, can we please move on? The characters are interesting. Sakura is well done. I like the fact that we actually have Thunderlane here. The idea of having one male here does bring to mind G5. And the tests were also interesting. It was actually kind of hard for me to actually figure out what was what until Luna actually said it. But they were kind of an interesting take on the scenario, and they weren't obvious. I do like that Fluttershy was able to tickle the Manticore to prove laughter. Lionel had good loyalty. While it's no Rainbow Dash denying her dream just to make sure that her friends are safe, it was still kind of a useful way. I liked that Maud's honesty showed what it was, and I didn't foresee Sakura's willingness to be generous, to be helpful, but hey, that's the fun part of all this, is the way they do it. Like I've said before. Oh, and I forgot, Thunderlight's kindness leading any battle, that was a new one. An interesting interpretation, and so was Trixie's magic affinity. But like I said, one thing I love about the first two-parter is that it so well does the introduction, the talking, and giving us everything we need to know about this world. That it can stand on its own as a good, quick special. We understand everybody's characters, we understand who they are, boom, and we can move on. I love the idea that Trixie was a mother, and I love the use of Oculus. He's adorable. I also love that Trixie becomes Luna's student. Something I always love and wish they could have done in canon. So that way Trixie could be, Twilight's true rival. Because, let's face it, other than Sunset, Twilight really doesn't have it. So, yeah, pretty good. Considering when the anniversary date's supposed to happen, I'm going to give myself some time to do some one-shots, some random stuff. And then for the next full fic, we're doing Sweet Taste of Cake. I'll see you next time.